Well, hello everybody. As you can see, I'm enjoying the grass. You know, people have told me that I should go touch grass, and so you know what? You know what? I whipped it up. I made grass. Are you happy? Um, Hello everybody. As you can see, I've added grass in with the terrain. I think it looks pretty good, along with the trees and stuff. I think that it adds a good atmosphere to the overall terrain. There are a total of 9 different grass textures that can be selected. Um, so I don't know if I can get them all. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think. That's all 9 right there. Um, yeah, overall, I think it makes the terrain look a lot better than it did before. The grass probably do need to fix it on the side of mountains. I haven't added shading yet, so the grass here has the same shading as like the grass in the sunlight. Probably do need to add that. Um, but I think the main thing that this video will be on will be the new terrain or the new menu. It looks pretty much the same as it did before, but it has a lot of new features and a lot of new stuff. So, as you can see, there are tabs now. Done a little bit of redesigning of the menu. Now there are tabs. The submit changes button actually works, but I'm not going to click it yet because it lags your game a little bit because the terrain generates. It's pretty laggy. So I'm going to explain each tab. So mountain height, already kind of know what that means. Mountain size, in the last video that was the like zoom multiplier. I renamed it because it was a little bit weird. Terrain Z offset, so basically that is like how high it is, so I can click that and make it go higher like that. Pretty simple. Clamp noise, so that's a little weird. Basically, so let's put this up here. Clamp noise, if I get rid of this, then it like goes down all the way. That's all that does. So you can see the before and after. So the top isn't modified, but the bottom, like instead of being flat, it's like it dips down completely, like Perlin noise should. And leave space for flat grass building. So currently, if I go out, you can see there's like a thing right here where the flat grass building is given space for the mountain. But if I get rid of that, oh, put it at the ground. There we go. If I get rid of that, you can see the mountain just goes straight into the flat grass building. So, boom, that's with it on. Boom, that's with it off. Custom terrain functions. So this is something really nice. It actually took me a while to make this panel, this this slide. So this is a custom Gilua height function. So we have a bunch of different options to choose from. You can even make your own. So like before, all you have to do is type in a function that returns a number, and there you go. You've basically just like you've made you've made your own like height function, and you can do whatever. So for instance, I can do return x to the power of 2, hit test changes, and you can see it makes a little dip. I'm not regenerating the lighting, and that is because it actually crashes you sometimes. So I will have to figure out why that's happening. I think there is a memory leak involved with rebuilding the physics object on an entity. So yeah, I think I'm going to have to do something about that. I'm not sure how I'll fix that, but as of right now, this is just what we have. So there we go. And if I add y power of 2, then it makes it like a little bowl thingy. Submit changes actually works now, so if I hit submit changes, it takes like a second, and then after a lot of lag, the terrain generates, and then the lighting goes over all of the terrain. Because I didn't leave any space for the flatgrass building, the trees are generating inside of it. If I go to custom and I click this, and then I hit submit changes again, and it regenerates, then there should be space for the flatgrass building. There we go. So I accidentally had that unchecked. And now the lighting will probably generate again. But yeah, grass generating as expected. There is a reason it is floating here. Basically, because of how the terrain is generated into triangles, it doesn't have infinite precision. Like that. So a solution to this would be to use like plane intersections, but I don't really feel like doing that right now. So just deal with the floating grass as of right now. Yeah, so I guess I can just select some of these functions. So first thing, let's just do the black hole. I actually quite like this one. Go out here. And basically all of the terrain just dips down into the singularity area. Looks pretty cool. Oh, and here's the lighting. So all of these functions, I'm not going to go over them because it's going to take a while. But basically, all of these different functions are individual and unique, and they do something a little bit different. The terrain is public now, so you can. I'll put a link in the description, and you'll be able to play with it yourself if you know how to set it up. I guess I should go over the other tabs. So this is the foliage tab. Tree size is just how big the trees are. If I set this to 10 and then hit test changes, it makes really big trees. If I set this to 1, then it makes really small trees. Tree amount, that's just how many trees are per chunk. So if I put 1 tree per chunk, then it would be a very sparse amount of trees. If I put 20 trees per chunk, there would be a lot of trees. Tree slope threshold, so the lower this number is, I think the harder it is for trees to generate on the sides of things. So if this was like 0, and this was like 1, oh, actually doesn't change anything. Oh well, I'll have to fix that later. Next thing is the grass size. That's just how big the grass is. So if I set that to 100, oh wait, I think I have to, yeah, I have to submit changes. There we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, yeah, that works. So as you can see, the tree slope threshold actually updated. So the less the number is, the more that a tree is able to generate on the side of, say, like a cliff. So like you can see this, the tree is on the side of the cliff. But if, for say, this value was higher, like 1, or wait, I have to regenerate. There we go. So if this value, say, was like 1, then any really small, like minor, like dense hill in the terrain will not cause the tree to generate. And since this whole terrain is technically not flat, the tree will never generate. As you can see, there are LODs for the grass, so close enough to a chunk, then all the grass will render. This is intentional, of course, because I mean you wouldn't want grass to render over there. It's just really expensive, and it's not even really supposed to be at 100 size. It's supposed to be at 25, so you'll barely even notice it at the scale. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, you can barely even like notice it popping in and out. Next thing, of course, generate grass, yes or no. That just generates grass. The next thing is client settings. So for this, I will probably make the grass bigger so it's easier to see. And client settings, all that does is it changes how far the Chunk has to be, in order to go into LOD mode, or whatever you want to call it. So the higher this value is, you can see chunks over there start rendering their grass, and the lower value means chunks stop like rendering like their grass and higher definition tree models. It doesn't really help frame rate all that much, but it does help a little bit if your GPU is maxed, I think. But besides that, that is all of the terrain. Again, it is open source on the GitHub link in the description of the video. Feel free to play around with it for yourself.